All right. I think we are live in healthcare digital marketing. I'm so excited. I've got one of my favorite people ever in the physical therapy world on the podcast right now. I feel really lucky that I've actually met Rob since I've done an interview with him in person.
Yeah,
Alex, I got to sit down with him in Nashville, which was awesome. Gosh, that was probably back in.
I think it was late last, or was it early spring? I can't remember. It was when Funnel Hacking Live was going on.
I know now I'm blanking big time. I think it was late. I think it was February. I want to
Yeah,
say
yeah,
February or March.
yeah.
Uh, but we've got Rob on. If you don't know Rob, Rob is essentially the godfather of telehealth and physical therapy, which he would never probably claim for himself. So I'm going to claim it for him. He's super hard to miss if you are following telehealth at all. If you're in one of the telehealth Facebook groups that Rob runs, which we'll talk about later, if you're out there, Rob's been doing this for a while. He's got some of the coolest stories of the early days of the wild, wild west of telehealth. If you think it's wild, wild west of telehealth now, you got to hear some of Rob's stories when he was starting out. It's pretty wild. Rob, thanks for hopping on with me.
Thanks, man. I think this is my first. I've been in the group, the Healthcare Digital Marketing Group, since the early days, dude, and just
That's wild.
it's blown up. Like both, I think you and I both kind of started out around the same time.
Yeah.
With the telehealth PT providers group, and then this one, and then both of them have just gone just like 45-degree angle straight up. So it's been pretty fun, man. This is good.
I'm just excited to have you because some big things are happening. You've been amazing. Ben, thanks for hopping on. David, thanks for hopping on. You got more people hopping in live. If you're listening to this on the podcast, thanks for joining us. If you're watching this somewhere else, YouTube, on Facebook right now, we're happy to have you. Rob, just in case someone's tuning in for the first time, we should probably start just a quick background on who you are in case there's someone out there who hasn't been familiar with telehealth.
Yeah.
So, Rob, how long have you been doing this? Did you start telehealth 3 weeks ago and you're really into it now? How long have you been doing it?
Yeah. So I started as soon as I finished up school. So long story short, basically whenever I even got into PT school, my professors were during the interview process, they said, what are you really excited about? And I was like, well, being able to see patients electronically. And they're like, what? Like, what does that even mean? And this was back in 2002, whenever I first got into school. So there was barely high-speed internet that was becoming more and more commonplace.
Yeah.
So dial-up was still kind of hanging around back then. So it was kind of one of those questionable moments where even my professors were like, I don't think that's ever going to be a thing. And this was back in 2002. So I can't blame them. But from that point till I graduated in 2004, and then 2005 started Direct PT, which was the world's first telehealth physical therapy clinic, like a digital practice. So I did that, got super lucky with my Google rankings, and in my title bar, I put online physical therapy.
Mm-hmm.
And then within a few months, Google had me on the very first page between like first and third ranking. So just from having that accidental success, I was able to get about 2.5 years of seeing patients that would just Google in online physical therapy, and then they find me. And it happened to be a bunch of patients that were on boats and yachts. They were out to sea. So I lived in Texas at the time, and I was seeing some patients in Texas, but a lot of times I was seeing patients that were offshore and they didn't want to come back in. It was usually a back, shoulder, neck problem. And I was able to kind of take an assessment, do a full evaluation, treat them, and get paid via PayPal. So that was back in the early days where, even my colleagues, when I was working at St. David's, they were like, what are you doing actually? And they understood it because most of them were also trained in the McKinsey method as well. So that really set me up for success because it's a framework where you don't really have to touch a patient most of the time, even if you're in the clinic. It's kind of frowned upon to do that right off the bat. You want to try and get the patient as best as they can get by themselves so that they don't depend on you for that hands-on treatment, which is all fine and good. I will never, ever say that, manual therapy it's awesome. It is absolutely required in our profession, but there are certain circumstances and situations where it's not. And in those, I really think telehealth has a huge, huge upside, especially in our field. I feel like we're kind of the unsung hero of the medical profession that can sweep in and change a whole lot of things, but we have to have ourselves in the right position to be scalable. And the only way that we can do that is through something like telehealth versus just kind of being stuck in a geographic limitation in a brick and mortar setting. So I'm pushing this forward. APTA today even came out with some pretty strong language against some of the FCC's suggestions about telehealth.
Really?
And that was my first time, just today. And I've been working with the APTA, the congressional liaison. He and I did some pretty good work a couple of weeks back. I'm going to be doing more work with him next week. And if all goes well next week, we should be able to get it to be proposed. I think it's going to be in the Connect Act again from the Senate and the House. And then that should pass. We kind of got stuck in some sticky language last time, which got us yanked out of the preferred providers category. If we can slam it home next week, then hopefully by the end of the year, listen to me closely, everybody. We could be in that preferred providers category and get reimbursement for physical therapy through telehealth, through normal charges like Therax, Theract, neurological re-ed. There we go. So we're there. We're there.
Absolutely huge. I think that's because right now it's, I don't want to say, I guess I'd be curious, Rob, do you think the vast majority of people who are currently doing telehealth are doing it on a cash basis?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. I would say the majority. It's very rare that people are doing that. Now, I've heard of people getting reimbursement through super bills as well. So they charge cash and then provide a super bill for the patient. And the patient gets, 30, 40% reimbursement, which, hey, it's better than nothing. But a lot of people doing it now are doing it via cash pay, and it's successful. That's the other thing. It's more or less just like it's one of those instances where you don't know how good you can be at it or how successful it can be in your practice unless you do it. And so kind of pushing that forward, pushing the envelope. And that kind of leads right into this whole competition and what we're doing with that.
Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait to talk about it. I just want to take 1 second and say that I'm such a big advocate of telehealth because I think that for me, it's just like you said, it's not should this replace traditional in-person clinic physical therapy?
Right.
It's just another option for people. And I think of if you live in a smaller town or a rural area and you only have access to maybe one or two people within 100-mile drive. Yeah. And what if they're not very good quality clinicians? Because there's no competition to force them to be better.
Yeah.
Your only option is to go see someone who's not going to provide quality care. Is poor hands-on care better than high quality telehealth care? Like we got to look at what are the options? So for me, I'm a big fan of it. Rob actually helped treat me or guide me in the process of healing myself from what I thought was a foot injury. Turned out we believe is some type of nerve thing that was coming either from my low back hamstring down to kind of my fibular head area where we were figuring stuff out, talked me through it, gave me simple exercises. I went from being able to run at 70% at best to I'm back to 95, 98% most of the time. The other 2% is just because I'm old. So I'm getting older and that's why I can't do it anymore. So I'm just such a huge fan and I want to be as much as, I think it's great to hear from Rob. I think I want you to know that I've been through this. I've actually been on the other side of a telehealth session, which you can watch in one of Rob's Facebook groups, that this is really powerful. And I had seen 3 PTs in person prior to that. Yeah. Manual therapy, hands-on care, just having a different set of eyes. It didn't mean anyone was better. It was just, in fact, Rob's treatment was based off of what I had said was going on in PT. He took that in as data and said, okay, well, if you've had 3 really smart people look at it, let's go somewhere else with it. Let's try totally different.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just the tip of the iceberg. I mean, there's going to be so many different things that we can use in a brick and mortar setting. We can bring in specialists. Like I've worked with Tony Maritato before. I was in Oregon back then and he's in Ohio. He needed somebody to check out a patient of his. They had a neck issue that was going on and he brought me in. We checked her out, did a full evaluation. I think it's recorded and actually inside the telehealth PT providers group there, which I put lots of videos on there to show people, look, this is exactly how it can be done. Like start to finish evaluations and treatments. It's not rocket science. This is not hard. We all have the skills to do this. It's just simply digging in more on the subjective side. And really, it really is a great marketing tool too, because if you wow a patient without having to touch them, do you know how many people they're going to tell about that? Like tons. And you know how easy it is for them to share something right now on social media to go, hey, I saw this person online and they fixed my issue that I've had for, let's give an example. The last guy that I saw and posted the whole series of 3 visits in the group, he's had it for 5 years. And this was a high level developer for a company that everybody would know the name of. And this guy literally has taken a year off of work and has still not gotten better. And we were able to see him 3 visits. He was more than 50% better at the first visit. Second visit, he comes back and says, I played a whole game of flag football that I haven't done in 5 years. And the third visit, he checks in and goes, yeah, I ran a mile the other day. And I was like, how was it? He was freaking awesome. And I'm waking up with no pain. I'm like, how long has that been going on? He's like, 5 years. So this is, everybody can just get so much of a benefit with your marketing component from having something like this, that patients will look at it like magic, man. They're literally going to see this and go, you didn't even have to touch me. I'm better. And it gives all the power to the patient. So that's why I'm so excited about this, to get into our profession like ASAP, because it's needed. We have to have this tool in our bag.
Totally. And we're so lucky to have you. I mean, I know for you, it's just something you enjoy doing and you're passionate about it. But for the rest of us, like we really owe you a debt of gratitude, and other people too have been behind the scenes helping to push this forward. Got some feedback real quick before we dive in. We got Tim Wu says, 30% of my care is given via the internets with a Z at the end. Sherry asks, how do you feel about telehealth for peds, Rob?
I think that it's a huge plus, especially if you look at pediatric patients are going to have high percentages of no-shows, mostly because either you've got the weather issue that every niche is going to have as a weather issue to wipe out patient visits. You're also going to have the inability for a patient or the parent to bring the patient if they have to find childcare for the other kids, or if one of the kids are sick, or there's so many different things and reasons why patients no-show. And a lot of times with pediatrics, when I've talked to Joanne Michelle Martin on the Telehealth 20 podcast, we've gone over this, and she's actually brought out a baby doll and said, look, this is what I will do with patients online, because I'm teaching the parent anyway, because they're going to be with that kiddo the next 23 hours in a row. I'm not going to be there 24 hours a day. So patient education and parent education is huge in pediatrics. And so when you can deliver that sort of service to at least extend the plan of care, instead of having, a missed visit here that turns into 2 missed visits, and then the parents going, well, it's kind of more convenient not to go than go. And if they're really not seeing the value in it, or maybe they're early in the plan of care and, they're 2 visits in and the kid might be 6% better, but it's going to take 12 visits to really get that kiddo the things they need, and they quit after 2 visits, that's a failed plan of care. So it helps that continued plan of care to really get pediatric patients where they need to be. And it's very, very respectful of the parents' time, which is usually, at the end of the day, that's what they're looking at, is like, I got to be 12 places at once, and it's almost impossible.
Yeah. I love it. And so Sherry, maybe we can get back to Pete's at the end. She says she's school-based. I think there's probably huge opportunities still there for kids with snow days, right? Days and opportunities there. But Rob, and Sherry, if you're really, really curious about that, you could feel free to message Rob. I'm sure he'd be happy to, to dive into that. Tim says telehealth has been awesome for his athletes who do racing for competitions, be able to talk with them right before they, especially when they travel.
Yeah.
Rob, I'm super pumped though. You're doing something crazy. You're doing something absolutely nuts that I love, is getting people's attention, because it's not like, hey, I'm going to give away an Amazon gift card for $25 if you want to start doing telehealth. So for people who are out there who've been seeing the we'll just call it the headline, the hook that's been out there, the $10,000, the telehealth 10K challenge. What is it and who is it for?
Yeah. So what this is we are gathering 100 plus PTs that are going to jump onto this competition, and we've already got 65, right? So we're well on the way, and we've got 10 days left. So it's no big deal. Everybody comes in at the last 3 days anyway. So at this point in time, I was going to be super happy to be halfway there, and we're at 65. So I'm pretty pumped that we're here right now. So the thing is, I wanted everybody in our group, and anybody that's a physical therapist that wants to implement telehealth, I wanted them to get off their ass. I mean, honestly, everybody has been like, this is a great idea, but then crickets when it's like, all right, who's doing it? And I knew that there was nothing better to put on the end of that stick as a carrot other than a big old bag of cash. So the whole thing that this is created for It's something where you're going to have $199 to get everything on telehealthpt.com. So if you've never been there before, everybody knows that I give like the majority of my stuff away for free. But these big pieces, the bigger ticket items, are basically a complete walkthrough to get your website and telehealth part going, a complete walkthrough of treatment styles and over 15 hours of basically me teaching class on how to how to treat the lumbar spine, cervical spine, thoracic spine, hip, knee, and shoulder and post-surgical patients. And so that's not just like, 10 minutes of me doing something. No, it's me teaching class for an hour and then showing example visits and breaking it down almost like a play-by-play on why I'm asking this question versus this and what drags out this answer versus this and why I now know that the diagnosis is X versus Y, all by just doing a lot of digs in the subjective and then testing and retesting with the patient. So the other part is like the marketing component. It's called the telehealth treasure chest, where we really go into specific details on how to draw in telehealth patients, because you kind of have to treat it as a different bag of patients. It's almost like you're fishing in freshwater or saltwater. You have to use a different lure, right? So we have different marketing components that work in some places but don't work in others. And so I kind of went into that as well. So those are the three big chunks, the bigger ticket items that usually go for like over $2,000. But for this, I wanted everybody to get every bit of that information forever. Like there's no limitation in like, it's a 3-month period that only I have this access to. No, you get it forever. I don't care. Download it. Let's go. So I'm doing that so that everybody will not have the fear of cost getting in their way. Because if 100 PTs start doing this for this competition, which I have no doubt we're going to get to 100, the fun part is this is going to be a big headline in newspapers, starting locally and then branching out into state and branching out into national. I really think that 100 of us are going to be able to change our own profession and landscape before the end of the year. So that is why I wanted to do this challenge, is I'm hanging out the $10,000 prize with 100 people, $199 a pop to enter. When you enter, you get all the information you need to get you going. And then 100 of that $199 immediately goes to prize money. Like whoever wins, you hit 100 patient visits in the span of 3 months. First one to hit 100 qualifying visits, you win 10 grand. I'm writing you a check for 10 grand. I'll take a picture of it, blur out the bank account number, send it to you. Done. You got it. You're not even getting taxes taken out. That's your job. Because if I say 10,000, it's 10,000. And then the other portion of it that we're doing is we're taking the rest of that and we're going to pump that into a huge ad campaign for digital.physio, which if people don't know what that is our free telehealth service where patients can come in, any patient, pick any diagnosis that's on our list, and it's going to connect them with a patient in their state first and foremost. That's what we're trying to do. We've got 600 PTs that are participating in this. So it lets patients come and get a 12-minute visit with a licensed physical therapist for free so that they can get triaged to either, you'd be a good physical therapy patient. Okay, good. Now, what do you want? Online or do you want in clinic? We got both choices here. And then it lets the patient decide and they kind of choose their own adventure, right? But it gets those patients in the physical therapy funnel, which we've been lacking forever. I mean, we get 7 to 12% of low back pain patients. That was a 32,000 person study, 7 to 12%. That's all we got. So we have got to use the tools that are at our disposal to really turn this thing around, to help fix the opioid crisis, help keep our profession strong, because right now it's starting to weaken. We got less applicants going into PT school. Student debt is a massive issue. Burnout's the other massive issue. And telehealth will also solve that because you get one-on-one time with patients. And you can do documentation with pen and paper. Everything can be reverted back to what we all got into this industry and profession for. And so with that telehealth 10K challenge, I'm putting it out there so that it gets people off their butts, which it has in mass. Like tomorrow we'll be releasing our 6th episode on the Telehealth 20 podcast, specifically with people that are in this contest, that are other PTs saying, this is why I'm in it. Here's my niche. Here's what I'm doing. This is how I'm going to market this. And it's going to be a massive shift. So if anybody's hearing me on this podcast in the group right now, and you're a PT and you want to change the game, we need probably 5 or 6 of you. I mean, that's literally what's going to basically tip the scales, is 5 or 6 people at the end. And if I don't get that, I'll probably throw in the $800, $900 that's needed to get to the 10,000 anyway. Everybody knows I'm like that anyway. So it is going to change our profession, and it's about damn time, because we have to do something. if we want to make a change. We have to do it now.
Love it. All right. So I think we got Tim Wu is I think genuinely freaking out right now. I know Tim really well. I don't know if you ever got to talk with Tim, but Tim, I can picture Tim right now jumping up and down out of his chair. Tim, if you're not signed up yet, you got to sign up. Rob, where do we send people if right now at this moment we've got like 13 people on if they want to jump over?
Yeah.
Where do we go?
Easiest way to do it is just go to telehealthpt.com. There's an actual library that's right underneath the header. It's got a big $10,000 bill, which I didn't know that was a thing, but that's our largest denomination of currency we've ever had. Apparently is a $10,000 bill. So I found a copy of that and used that image. So if you look on telehealthpt.com, you'll see that image, click on it, and that'll give you the information, the application, all that stuff.
Man. All right. I want to dive in a little bit more. So people, if they're like, wait, hold on, maybe I missed some stuff.
Yeah.
First off, right now, I just put it in the comments. Brian, if you want to go to telehealthpt.com, find the $10,000 bill logo or picture, click on that. It should take you to the 10K challenge.
Yeah.
So that's answer one. How do I sign up? Tim, if you have not signed up yet, first off, I just want to say I've seen the library of all the stuff that's in there. Like if you've ever had any interest in telehealth, for $199, it is probably the biggest steal you'll ever. You're gonna learn how to be a better clinician, whether you even see a patient or not, just by going through the material.
Yeah.
Two, you're gonna learn stuff that no one else teaches you, like online marketing for telehealth. There teaches you how to actually go about this, get set up. How do you actually see someone? What do you use? Right.
Yep.
Rob is literally laying all of this out there just to get attention. I hope that's coming across. Rob's not really. I don't even imagine making any money at all from this.
No, I don't want to. That's it. It's like that. What was that? Brewster's Millions. Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody told me that the other day. They're like, dude, you're like Richard Pryor in Brewster's Millions. Like you got to spend it all. I'm like, yeah, I'm hoping we get 100 people signed up. We take it, we split it, prize money, and then the rest goes to an ad campaign to get more free people in the door to help all of those people that are participating, because everybody who participates and gets like 30 of the 100. So you don't even have to get all 100. I don't care. If you get 30, then your practice, I see it as legit now.
Yeah.
You're really doing it. And so I'm going to list those people that get 30 onto Digital Physio, which we're putting the rest of the money to market towards. So it's almost like this huge flywheel where you're practicing, you're getting your practice going, you're doing it, you know how to do it now, you're efficient. And now we're going to, after the contest is done, we're going to be pumping patients to you. And it's going to be for nothing, like literally pennies. And nobody else is going to do this for you. Like you have to do it yourself, and you just got to decide, I think I could do this. And absolutely you can. Like I've done it for 15 years. This is not, I keep saying this over and over. It's not rocket science. We all have the tools to do it.
I love it. So some common questions that I think someone might have, like if I were going to do this. So first off, just for clarity, the person who wins $10,000 is the first one to document having done 100 patient visits via telehealth.
Yep. So
how does someone track that? How do we do that?
Here's the fun part. So we've got a script that's going to be there. So first off, they all have to be recorded. So we have an educational release form for the patient. We have a consent form ready to go. There's a whole legal document portion of the telehealth 10K challenge. So we're giving you not only the legal documents you need to get going with this to get the patient to sign. We're also giving you a media kit that lets you basically plug in your website name with all the images that we've had for the telehealth 10K, so you can pitch that out to people. Like I couldn't have made it any easier other than holding your hand and like hitting connect to launch the Zoom link to talk to your patients. So everybody's going to have a certain location where they're uploading their specific videos. The rules of the rules are actually inside that library, so you can actually click on the $10,000 bill. You scroll down to the bottom, you see all the rules. The first person between September 1st and November 30th to see 100 documented qualifying patient visits that are recorded and have the patient's informed consent and the educational release signed, you're done. When you hit that 100 mark, the first person to do it, you win. I'm going to be counting every day. I'm going to be checking and verifying visits every single day. So that is going to be one part of it. The greatest part about this is with those educational release forms, we're going to now have, let's say 100 people do, let's say low end, right? And nobody does anything but 10 visits, right? And even then we've broken it down. If nobody gets to 25 visits, which everybody, the first 4 people would get $2,500 if nobody gets 100 and nobody gets 50. So let's say they get to 10. The first 10 people are going to get $1,000 that do 10, right? Even if only 10 visits are done for all 100 people, we're going to have a collection of 1,000 telehealth visits spread over a variety of niche areas. And we're going to plug all those videos into telehealthpt.com for free for any therapist or any patient to be able to see these videos, so that number one, the physical therapist can look at it and go, oh, that's how they would see a pediatrician, or, oh, I never knew lymphedema could do that, or holy, that's Mackenzie. I didn't know that. No, these other people performing PT says how good they are. That's great. Put your money where your mouth is. Show me how good you are, right? I'm doing it all the time. And it's not because I'm cocky. It's because other clinicians need to get the confidence that they have all the skills they need to help patients. And once that we start that in our profession, it's going to catch like wildfire. And then it's also going to be something that not only 1,000 video visits that PTs can see, but also patients can see this and go, holy crap, I didn't know physical therapists did that. And then they're going to look out for some sort of physical therapist that can treat them for that specific issue, which then they can say, hey, I saw physical therapists treating this online. Could you do it online? And then that makes the physical therapist that hears that patient say it go, oh my God, I never even knew that. Where did you see that at? And then they come to telehealth PT. See how this big ass cycle kind of goes and goes until it is a main thing in our profession?
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I'm just so excited. I love on the back end too. It's not just, hey, this is a big rush and it's the Super Bowl. And then it's like 7 months without action, like right. NFL season. This is actually just building a library and marketing material and influx that if you get in now is going to be pushed on the back end to drive more people to you now that you had that kick in the butt to actually get started with your telehealth practice.
Yeah.
It was just so smart, Rob, to do it that way.
Thanks, man.
We had a couple questions.
Yeah.
Should we ask, do you have to be a PT? She's an OT. Just curious how it's going to play out.
Yeah. So we're just doing PTs and PTAs this round. We actually have, I think we have 2 of those 65 people that are PTAs that are coordinating and having PTs do the evaluation. And then they're going to do these visits. Oh, by the way, forgot the biggest damn part. This is easy because it's free. Every visit that you're going to see for these patients has to be free. So we're leveling the playing field, because if everybody's charging a little different, it can be a little tougher or a little easier. But if it's free, it's freaking easy to market this service to anyone that you want to see. And by the way, doing the math, 30 minutes, 5 visits a week for 30-minute visits, you'll be able to get your 100 visits in 3 months. That's like 5 30-minute sessions a week. That's nothing. That's a drop in the bucket. But at the same time, you'll have a chance to win that 10 grand. You'll also become extremely efficient, and you'll be spreading word of mouth because you'll be seeing patients for free that might hesitate whenever they hear physical therapy combined with telehealth. They're like, how the hell would that even work? But I tell you, people stand in line for free. So if there's anything that you can pitch to a patient that you want to explore as a potential revenue stream for your business and your practice, try some free stuff. That'll get people in the door. You'll get much better at it. They're going to cut you so much slack on the tech side if you're uncomfortable the first 2 times you do it. 3rd time you got it down. It's just like using Zoom. It's not hard. It's just learning how to do it by doing it.
Yeah. So Rob, you give people, let's say, I'm just thinking of someone who's like, I've never done that before. Maybe they've never even done like a Zoom call before, or, it's hard for me. I mean, maybe there's somebody out there who's never done like FaceTime or Skype. I imagine that the vast majority of people have,
right.
At least familiar with it. So if that's someone's objection or challenge, is that solved for them already by signing up?
From the patient side or the PT side?
From the PT side.
Oh, from the PT side? Yeah. I would think so. I mean, Zoom is free. Zoom even lets you sign up for free. You'll have an account that'll let you record, and it's completely touchless. So you pretty much you send a single link, patient gets it, patient clicks it, you click it, and now you're in a call. Okay. So it's seriously almost like using a phone number, but it's just a video call.
And they learned how to set up Zoom in the process doing it. Okay. Just want to make sure.
And I've got all tons of tips and how-tos and everything like that inside of I think it's like 50 plus hours of video. I could be way wrong. It could be like 75 plus hours. I just haven't sat down and counted.
Yeah. It's probably like 900.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, somewhere around there.
All right, Heather, thanks for hopping in. I'm really curious if you're watching this live or if you're watching on the replay. If you're listening on the podcast, feel free to shoot us a message when you stop driving or however you're listening. You know, is telehealth something that you've wanted to add to your practice or something you've been interested in? Maybe you're a student, something that you want to get into. I'd love to know just yes or no, if that's something that you've really wanted to get into. I'm looking at you, Tim. I think, Tim, you got a real shot at winning this. Honestly, man, the way Tim builds his practice out is a lot of people come in from a couple hours away for a session, and then they're out there. You know, he works with elite cyclists. Cozy says yes. Dustin Howard is on here. Cozy does a lot of visits. She works with amputees, actually, which is really interesting. Here's a curveball for you. Brian Cunningham, who I believe works with just swimmers, or the swimmers are his niche. Mm-hmm. He says, Rob, I think he didn't say your name, but he asked, how would one work with swimmers in a telehealth setting, for example?
So if a swimmer is your patient, they have a phone, almost guaranteed. So if they have a phone, then they can provide probably somebody to hold that or somehow take some, because you're going to be working on their swim technique or that they have or that they're having, or your whatever they need, right? So the first thing you need to do is a good intake and figure out, okay, is this something that I need to physically be there for them? That's the number one thing I do with every single patient. Because the great part is if they're not a good fit for you, you do the basically what we call the refund and refer. So you refund their money and you refer them out and you make a connection with the referring source. And that's a huge marketing tip for everybody that's listening to this. So that's the first step. Now, if they're a good fit for telehealth, and let's say, for example, the swimmers are coming to you and they're like, I've got this shoulder pain. Okay, I treat shoulders all the time over telehealth. And through the McKenzie system, it's basically looking for, is this a tissue dysfunction? Is this a joint issue? Is it actually something coming from the neck that's referring out to the shoulder? Or is this a postural component and they're actually somebody that loves to swim, but they're also a developer and they're coding, 12 hours a day in a bent over posture. So it's a lot of digging into what they need specifically. So it's going to be, every single patient's going to be different, but the majority of those, you can either have the video of them swimming if you're looking at technique. And if it's not high enough quality video and you're usually having to go there anyway to watch them swim, okay, that's fine. That's not a good fit for your telehealth practice. But if it's a patient that has pain and they happen to be a swimmer, or it's somebody that you've been seeing in person, and let's say that they're on vacation or somewhere and they have some sort of issue that's popped up and now they come back and they're like, my shoulder's jacked since I, went on vacation and dove in off a, 40, 50 foot cliff edge and I hit the water hard and my shoulder kind of subluxed, right? You're going to be able to take care of that because the majority of the time, if you can't work with a patient that you obviously know needs hands-on, don't even try telehealth. If you know it, see him in person, do hands-on. It's no big deal. But if it's a patient that you don't have to, wow them. Take that as an opportunity to do a magic trick so that they talk about you to all of their friends that are also swimmers. That brings in more people. So that would be my answer for that one.
I love it. Yeah. And I want to just follow up. I play soccer. I played soccer until I recently moved to West Virginia for a little bit. I was playing soccer 4 nights a week, fairly decent competitive level. I came to Rob after a soccer related injury. I was kicking a ball and I pretty much strained or did something to my hamstring, my high hamstring. Yeah. And it had gone on for a really long time, traveled down to my foot. And I saw Rob. Rob didn't have to see me kick a soccer ball, didn't have to see me, sprint or run. He's able to see me walk. And honestly, it wasn't even that predictable of repeatable pain. Like we knew that I could do, it wasn't like one movement was necessarily like, that's the thing over and over again. Right. So fairly kind of
ambiguous. It was pretty ambiguous, man.
Right. It wasn't typical, think McKenzie, oh, there it is. Okay. Repeated movements. Let's move this way, do this way. It was a lot of like, okay, just exploring and let's try different things and do this. So Brian,
the great part was, the great part was active recovery. Like I was telling you, okay, we're going to do this and you keep playing soccer because our big goal, if I'm worth my weight in anything, it should be to get you to play soccer with less pain. not take off 3 months or here's a brace so that you have to run differently. I want you to freaking play soccer. And if one thing that we're doing is helping it, you should be able to do it at a higher level, which you did. And so we're like, all right, there's a green light. Let's see. And then we did some more and you got even better. And so it's one of those things where it's not necessarily as hard as we have made our profession to be, you know, and the more studies that comes out show it's kind of kicking us in the butt saying special tests aren't that special, guys. All the hands-on special tests that you think, you know, a lot of these are coming back and going, toss up. It's like meniscal surgery. That used to be the thing. And how many studies have to come out before we see meniscal surgery is like, you know what? Sham surgery does just as well. It's like, oh no, what have we been doing? So big
Rob,
goals.
I promise. I disagree. I guarantee you, I can hit L1 through L5 almost every single time. Okay, I can get L1 through L5 almost every single time. I can spot it every single time. I'm with you.
Piece of cake.
We got a couple more questions. If you have another minute,
I got time, man.
Neil is a massage therapist. He says, can you get in on this? So Neil, I think what Rob said was based off of how this is going to run. And I think some of the legal documents, it's only for physical therapists this go around, maybe down the road.
I definitely want to expand this. I mean, it should be a place in every healthcare profession. But this is just something where I think because I'm a PT, this is easy for me to relate to other PTs. This is what I've been, you know, my bread and butter for a while is teaching people this and showing that this is a real thing that can really be a good revenue driver for your business or just as a solo practice. But yeah, this is the, you know, drop in the bucket and you get enough drops and that bucket's going to be full. So
I love it, guys. If you have more questions, I got at least 2 more questions. I want to hammer out any objection question you have, because this is a steal of a lifetime. You've got seriously $199 to get a library of information that would otherwise probably be tens of thousands of dollars of what Rob has put together. You're also going to get a kick in the butt to start your telehealth practice, to get things going, and you have a chance at winning $10,000. Like, please, if you have questions or doubts right now, whether you're watching this live or on replay, if you're on the replay and Rob can't answer right now, I will make sure that we forward. Rob is very active. He'll come in and make sure that you have any doubts answered. So I got a couple questions. One from Reina. Reina asks, Rob, the best piece of advice for online marketing that you have for telehealth?
Yeah. So here's a good one. So what I think it was 2 or 3 weeks ago, I put together this part in the package that's called the Flywheel Webinar. So basically what it is you figure out a niche area that you want to treat. For example, let's say musicians, right? And let's even niche down further and say, I don't know, saxophonists, right? So they're going to have X, Y, and Z injury commonly. So let's say that they're going to have some finger issues, some hand tendinosis, some forearm tendinosis, some sort of flare-ups that happens anytime they play for a long time. Maybe they get some TMJ type stuff going on, and you can divide that out. Let's say you get a 1 hour long video that you're the expert on, and you divide that up and you just categorize each thing. And you say, here are the common injuries for saxophonists. And here's the things, and you're going to do 3 parts for each of those specific injuries. How it probably started, how to fix it, and how to keep it from coming back. And you do that for an hour-long chunk of video, right? You use that as your lead gen. Number 2, you have a webinar that goes along with that package that they sign up for and say, hey, once a month, I'm doing a 1 hour Q&A. I'll answer anything. You throw a question my way, I'm the expert. You ask me, I'll take care of it. You ask, and they'll give you questions. You take those questions, you run the live webinar once a month. It's 1 hour of your time. You take that webinar, you record it, now you plug it back into your package. So now you have 1 hour of you being the expert answering questions. You have 1 hour of expertise breaking down all the simple issues that niche area has. And then you stuff it more and more. And at the end of the year, you got 13 hours of content in one package. You can start selling that, or you can sell it from the start. And then at the beginning and the end of the video, you say, hey, I do this. I do it one-on-one. If you come out of this webinar and I've answered your question, but you're still scratching your head going, but how would I fix my issue? Because everybody thinks their issue is special, right? Every patient does that. You're going to say that I do one-on-one visits here. Here's my website. I charge this much per hour. This is how you get started with an evaluation. Go here if you need me. If not, awesome. I love to hear positive feedback on what's going on with you. So you do that and you create a whole ecosystem that does not take tons of time, but it sure as hell will filter in the right type of patients. So you can niche down and have 10, 20 different areas of this one's for guitarists. This one's for people that play the trumpet instead of the saxophone, right? These are people that play drums. You can do the whole thing. And then you can pitch that for free, even the webinars. You can pitch that for free to places like Guitar Center, right? They've always got a cork board. And you can put stuff up saying, I'm a physical therapist. I treat X, Y, and Z. Come to this free webinar and I'll help you. How hard is that? It's not hard at all. And so that is a simple way. And there's like a 23-minute outline of me detailing exactly what to do to create one of these. But I think you could just listen to what I just said and probably do it yourself. Like it's pretty easy, and it will draw the right people in to then make those people that are the right fit then become a telehealth patient of yours. And then that will go in reverse, because now you're treating a niche, but they have friends and family. And so that person that plays the saxophone says, my dad has a bad elbow. You think you could check him out? You're like, yeah, sure. Send him over, check my schedule, tell him to reserve a spot, pay the fee. I'll see him on Thursday, right? So you can see how you can niche down and then explode out. And that's very easy to do via telehealth because it's all online. Everybody's online now.
Totally. Raina, if you have questions about some of those words like webinar and how that works, just reach out to me or jump into Rob's group. You can do something like a Zoom call like this and get a bunch of people on, and you don't have to buy a crazy webinar software program.
$15 a month. Easy.
Yeah. So we got one other question. Mike says, Mike asks, is the federal PT license approved yet? Can we treat across state lines?
Nope. Good question. Very good question. So I'm guessing Mike's in the States here.
Yes.
Because places like Australia, yes, they have blanket licensure for the whole country, which is awesome. I wish we had that. We don't. We have one license, and the rule is right now, you have to treat a patient where the patient is physically located. You have to be licensed where they are physically located. So we do have the PT Compact. I think I just put a video in where I discuss a lot about that, like inside the picture that you put up saying that we're doing this tonight.
Yeah.
It was like an hour and 15-minute walkthrough of like all the details, and 20 minutes is about the PT Compact and specifics on it. But it boils down to, you have to see a patient where they are physically located. You have to have the license where they are physically located. So that is the law of the land right now. The only little outlier is Delaware. Delaware, you cannot see a patient for an eval, reassess, or discharge via telehealth. You can see them for in-between visits, but those 3 categories of visits I just listed, you have to see those in person, and then you can do telehealth otherwise.
Come on, Delaware.
I know. They're changing. Apparently, they've got some changes going on. So
Texas, I would have been like, all right, I get it.
Right. Yeah.
But Delaware, come on, guys.
Right.
Have like one of the best PT programs consistently in the country. Get it together.
I know.
Just trying to make some noise and get some publicity.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Wait, so Rob, to clarify for people who are wondering if they join the challenge, so does that mean that all of the 30-minute sessions they do need to be with people that they can treat who are within their license capacity?
Yep, exactly. The one caveat is we did have some flexibility thrown in because we had a lot of questions about wellness visits. So if you're doing a wellness therapy session, we allow 30 of those 100 visits to be wellness, so that you can also provide learning educational moments for other PTs that are looking into wellness and want to see what that looks like. Yeah. So the end result is, even if you're only going to do 30 wellness videos, that's fine. And you will still qualify to have yourself and your practice listed on digital.physio. So we're trying to make this as fair as possible, but we want to have the majority of those videos be actual treatments, so that patients and physical therapists can learn from this huge library that will be free for everybody, not just like the people that participate. I'm talking everybody, but we've got to get this ball rolling. So like I said, 5 or 6 people from here that are hearing me right now, either on the podcast or in the group right now, get going. Like you're the best plant that, what is it? The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. And the second best time is right now. Like do it right now. There's nothing that you have to lose other than basically starting something that creates a side income. Sorry.
So true. Yeah. I just, please guys, if you're out there and you're on the fence about it, what do you have to lose? $199 have a chance at I wouldn't even think about the $10,000 prize. Think about getting the kickstart you need to add an aspect of your business that's going to bring you far more than $10,000 over the next year if you take this seriously.
Yep.
Like you're adding a component to your business. This isn't hey, this is cute, go have fun. Like you are adding in a valuable asset to your business.
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of a cooler, more insane value than $199 to someone literally teach you how to add a whole new component to your business.
Yeah. And it's not even like Medicare is right around the corner from adding us as a preferred provider. Like nobody has the inside track like I do, because I'm the person talking to these senatorial offices and congressional offices. Guys, next week, if I can slam the door shut, we're good. We should be in. That means Medicare at least will be paying for physical therapy for Therax, Theract, NeuroRead. And then we can add this and it'll pretty much be like wildfire. But if you look at something like Athletico, they're already starting to do this. So if you're thinking, oh, well, what can I just do? Well, you can be that nimble therapist in whatever specialty you are that now corners the market in your state. Not just like a tiny little area. I'm talking the whole state. So we are in a race right now, and it's the people that actually grab this opportunity and basically say, I think I can do this. And this is the exact moment in time where you hear my voice. Yes, you can do this. This is not like, oh, kind of, sort of. No, go watch my videos. I'm treating people all the time. I'm treating other PTs all the time and helping them get better. This is not like low-level injuries. I'm talking about like Andrea Leifer, for example. She loves to shout about this because she's an awesome patient example. I think she'd been going to PT since she's 12. And she's had pain that was just debilitating. 2 visits, 96% better. Still rocking 96% better, by the way. And it's not just me. It's because she was able to reach the exact therapist that she needed for her issue. And there's tons of patients out there that are looking for this. So do it.
I love it. I love when Rob gets fired up, man. It gets me fired up. I think it's awesome. So I want to finish, Rob, with first off, just a reminder, if you want to jump in on this, which I highly recommend, go to telehealthpt.com and click on the 10K, the $10,000 bill picture. It seems like it'll be pretty obvious when you go.
Yeah, it's super obvious.
But I want to finish, Rob, for if someone is on the fence, what's the next thing they should do? And what is your best advice? If it was like, hey, Rob, I get 2 minutes with you and no one else is going to know this. Like, what do I need to do to win or be successful at this? What should I do?
Yeah, I would say the very first thing you do is amaze yourself and put one post out on some sort of social media and say, hey, I'm seeing 100 patients for free between September 1st and November 30th. Who wants a free online visit? And watch the flood that you'll get. Like, don't even sign up for the course yet. Just say that you're doing that and watch how many people reply. And then when you get those replies, go, oh, crap. Oh, my God. Okay, I see what this guy's doing now. And then get in on this so that you can be part of this whole movement. Like, the movement is the big key that I'm going for. Everybody knows I'm not looking to make money on this. I'm more than likely, I'm going to lose money because it's going to be my time that I'm digging into this. But it's been something I've been pushing for 15 years. And when I'm that close to a finish line, I'm like, I don't care. Whatever needs to happen, let's cross the damn finish line. So if you're on the fence, do that. Put it out there. Talk to your family. Even say, hey, I'm doing these online visits. You think you know anybody that needs a visit? They'll come back and have 3 or 4 people. They'll be like, yep, this person, this person, this person. And when can you see them? So just do it. Like Nike that stuff. Get it going. Just do it.
Nike that stuff. I think that's a great way to sum this up. Mike asks, where can he get a shareable link? I just put it in the comments for you, Mike. Go to telehealthpt.com/telehealth10K. So if you want to share this, you can grab it in the comments. If you're listening to this on the podcast, watching this on YouTube, you'll see links below. Otherwise, telehealthpt.com/telehealth10K, 10K. Get in. Is $199 to get a full education. I mean, the kind of course that should be taught in school that's never going to be taught. Yeah. For context, guys, Rob takes people through this at, I believe the residency was what, over $3,000, Rob?
Yeah. The last one that we ran was, I want to say like 6,600.
$6,600.
Yeah.
Granted, you're not getting all of Rob's time one-on-one with this,
Right.
but you are getting the educational materials almost at the same level for $199.
Yeah.
And it's a kickstart most of us need. Let's be real. If you don't, people who pay attention.
Mm-hmm.
Rob made this free for everyone. This is just Uncle Will coming out. If Rob made this free, we'd have 1,000 people sign up and 42 would actually take it seriously.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have to put some skin in the game, it'll kick you in the butt, and you'll at least have some shame or guilt for not doing something. And sometimes those emotions are powerful to make you take the next step forward. So, Rob, any last words? I just want to say thank you so much for hopping on.
Oh man, this is great. I love the fact that people like us keep building up, and it's fun because I see you doing something. I'm like, yeah, hell yeah. And then I'm doing something and you're like, yes, do it. And it's the same thing. Like the more of these types of PT interactions that happen, the more people, like in our group, for example, like I just shared a post the other day, we've doubled our freaking group size to, we're almost hitting 3,300 now, man. And it's all PTs and a handful of PTAs, but it's everybody in there is seriously helping each other. Like, hey, do this. What about this? Anybody know anything about this software or ever done this before? And it's a massive, massive benefit. So even if you're like, you feel like you would be on an island doing that, no, join our group. Like as soon as you go to telehealthpt.com on the top there, it says something like 3,200 PTs have joined or something like that. Click that. It'll get you in the Facebook group. And then you have to answer those 3 questions. I am picky as hell. You have to answer the 3 questions to get in our group. All it is how long have you been in PT? What do you want to do telehealth for? And have you done telehealth before? That's all we're asking so that we know you're a real person and not a scammer or a recruiter, because I probably decline a quarter of the people that try to get into our group. So if you don't want to be on an island, you're not gonna. You have everybody else that's in the competition is already in that group helping each other. So hop in. It's fun.
So excited. Mike says he's signing up. Rob, you have so many different Facebook groups that you are. I don't even know which ones half the time you're an admin or just like,
just hanging out in.
Leading up to the group. But if people are really curious, let's say they're like, I need a day or two to think about it, and they need some more information, and they want to go to, what's the best group for them to join to get more information?
Yeah, so the Telehealth PT Providers Group. So if you just type in Telehealth PT or providers or even physio, I think that'll pop it up as well. And I think it's got like almost 3,300 PTs right now. So do that, hop in. We're getting, I screwed it up and we had like 70 new people join the other day. I was like, damn, because it only lets you say thank or welcome to 50 people at a time. I was like, I took my eye off the ball. Sorry, everybody. Here's this. So,
you have to do it like every 3 hours now at the rate.
Pretty much, man. It's getting crazy. It's going crazy.
It's awesome. That's such a cool, to me, it's such a cool sign that we're moving it. It's not like, hey, I'm trying to get people in here. It's like, man, people are on this. Brian said he just signed up already. Mike said he's signing up soon. I just put the link in, guys. If you're listening to this on the podcast, the Facebook group is Telehealth Physical Therapy Providers. Mm-hmm. I'm sure if you just type in Telehealth Physical Therapy, it will pop up as the number one.
Yeah.
Rob,
I gotta thank you very much, man. Because this is something I seriously think changes the profession. We do this right, it changes the profession. I'm not even kidding. Like this is not a woo-woo, like hug everybody and wear some beads and burn some incense. No, this changes the damn profession. The damn profession changes by doing this. So if people are in that mindset of, you know what, I want to change something, join. You're going to see some freaking ridiculous changes happen in 6 months. In 3 months, we're going to end the competition. And then in January, we're going to do this again. And we're going to do it again. And we're going to do it again until everybody in this damn country sees PTs as the first person you need to see, period. That's how we do it, is we start it right now.
Man, if you're not fired up, I hope you're fired up for this because, like Rob said, Alex and I don't get anything out of this, like financially, or we believe in Rob. I believe in the power of what this can do. And this isn't here's the flash sale, come get it. It's literally, this is just a golden opportunity to learn, to add a new level to your business. You know, Alex and I our main mission with this group is to give people options, right? Mm-hmm. If you want to have a brick and mortar practice, amazing. If you want to find a way out of healthcare altogether, that's awesome too. We just want you to have options in life. Yeah. And I think what Rob is doing is creating such a cool, affordable, low-cost option to add a whole new level or an entire business structure for you. Like, that's absurd. Where else are you going to go? You can't even get a freaking LLC at times for that much money. Rob's offering an entire business model for you at that cost. So I really hope that you hop in. Rob, if someone has questions, can they reach out to you personally if they want to sign up?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm going to be busy. But if people hop into the telehealth PT providers group, I'm always checking that. That is like my Slack channel, basically.
Yes.
So if anybody has questions, hop in there. So that way, if I'm out for half a day doing a presentation or doing something else big, we've got people in that group that are other admins that have been in the game for a long time as well. And they will help you just as fast as I could. So hop in. It's an awesome group of people.
Cool. Yeah. Guys, Mike says he just signed up and Facebook kicked him off for for whatever reason, but Mike signed up. Oh, man, I'm so pumped. Mike and Brian, you're going to have a great chance. Tim Wu, if you're still listening, you haven't signed up yet, man, I'm going to be super mad if you haven't signed up because guys, thank you so much for tuning in. If you're listening, join Rob's Telehealth Physical Therapy Providers Facebook group if you have questions. If you're serious about this, you want to get signed up, which you should, go to telehealthpt.com. and scroll down, you'll see the giant 10K bill, or go to telehealthpt.com/telehealth10K. That will show you the link to get signed up. Go make a difference in your business. Have a chance to win $10,000. Move our freaking profession forward, which is going to be the biggest thing. Rob, thank you so much for taking your time.
Dude, appreciate it, Will.
Cool. You guys have an awesome night. Fist pound. You guys have a great night, and we'll talk soon.